Arms, too many choices. Back with a quick video again. Today is going to be about the Loft Tactical Folding Adapter versus the Sylvan Arms Folding Adapter. Let's take a look. Which one is better? It's up to you. Kind of depends on your wallet. I think we both know the correct answer though. So first off, the Law. The Law is more expensive. It is all steel construction. At least on my version, they may have an updated one that is aluminum. This one is all steel. Magnet will stay on all parts of it. I think this thing is great. Beefy construction. It's not going to fall apart on you. It's definitely going to last. Now, on the Sylvan, the magnet will not stick to it anywhere except for onto the actual latch that opens it up. So the button here, it's the only part that's steel. That could be a plus or a minus depending on how you look at it. If you're worried about the weight, you probably don't mind it. It's not really a big difference, but it definitely is a difference. Number two thing that's different is when they're open, you can see the buffer retaining pin, the little nub sticking up, is actually sitting up really high above the buffer tube on this one. And you can also see the latch inside on the opposite side here. That will retain the plug inside of this one if you fire it when it's open. It may say close before firing, but this one you could fire one round with it open and unlocked without the tube or the plug flying back in your face. On this one, you can maybe see the height difference in the retainer. This one, if I'm not careful, will launch the plug, the buffer, and the spring across the room. It is very annoying. I have learned to open this one with my thumb staying over just to make sure that that doesn't happen. But as it sits, I'm not using this one right now. I'm waiting for some more parts. And again, this one is not steel, but they both work. Neither one has ever failed or had an issue firing when they're closed and locked. Both work completely. The main difference between them is that on this side, again, this will hold the plug in. And this one, it will not hold that plug in. As you can see, it will let it go straight through. So if you fired this when it was open, the plug that sits in there to connect your buffer to the bolt carrier would fly out and hit you or become lost. And then you don't have a working or operating firearm. The two plugs. The reason I even changed mine over to the AR pistol is basically these plugs. When opened, you can see the difference in the size. This one is for the Law, this one is for the Sylvan. When folded open, this thing would stick up so high that it would protrude out of the top of the bag basically, and it would still fit in the bag, but it was a lot more difficult to get it in and out, and it looked really odd with this one thing just kind of poking up at the top. With the Law in there folded, sits fairly flush. You can't really tell what's going on with it, so just another thing. Oh yes. One thing that I've done with both of them, no matter which one I'm using, is I've stopped taking it apart by opening this and then pulling the plug and then reassembling it that way. That's way too much work. So what I will normally do is just make sure to cock the hammer and then put the two pieces back together and then push the pins. Let me open this thing really quick. So the pins are out. Hammer's cocked. Give it a little cant to the side. And put the two pieces back together and push the pins. And I found that a lot more convenient than opening this, pulling the plug out, pushing that back in, closing this, and then pulling the pin to open this. It's way too much work. So again, with this plug inside, I just pop the pin, and then take it apart. The plug will stay in there. Then I'm not worried about losing the plug also. It just stays attached to the firearm where it should be in the first place. So one more time, plug on this side, pins are out. Simply goes together and close it up. You can also do it with the hammer uncocked, but you have to watch out as you slide the parts back together because it will want to hook against it. So, but that's just what has worked for me. I like to try to keep things simple. But of the two, the Law Folder is staying on this pistol because it is a better piece and better unit, and it keeps the firearm shorter when it's all together. There is nothing wrong with the Sylvan other than the little gripes I've already said. It will launch that buffer tube across the room, but functionally it fires, and as long as you are aware of that little defect, at least on this one, it works. So if you're looking to get a folder, you're not going to get one of those Chinese knockoffs from Alibaba or whatever, and they both work. But the Law is clearly the better unit. The one gripe I have about the Law is when manipulating the safety, because I do have smaller hands somewhat, not a huge guy. It will pinch right here against the button. So if I'm fanning the safety, it will catch my skin against that extended part that keeps the button from being depressed. But having said that about the Law, on this one, on the Sylvan, if you're not careful when you're charging it, your knuckle will drag across this like a cheese grater. So you have to be careful on that one also when you're pulling the charging handle back. So they both have their pluses and minuses. It just kind of depends on what you're going for. The Law is more expensive, made of steel. The plug is a little bit shorter, can be fired when folded. The Sylvan is lighter, made of aluminum, has a knuckle busting, possibly knuckle, I've never actually done it, but possibly knuckle busting charging effect. I'm glad I got both, because eventually this will become another pistol, and this little thing is just sweet, and being able to fold it down and get it into a backpack or whatever small space I need, love it. So those are the main differences that I've seen using them. Like I said, functionally, they both have not had any failures. Get what you can afford, get what you like. They both work.